So my presentation today, I'm not going to talk global politics. I'm not going to go big picture because we have some very esteemed grandmasters in the front row that have spoken about that are writing books about it. So I'm going to go a little bit personal. I'm going to just talk about our Chinese astrology and how it relates to possibly you, me and everybody else. And I'm going to talk about the annual stars in your home. So we're going to look at ourselves and we're going to look at our homes. Now, Stephen, remember when you said yesterday you wished you had the flying Snoopy?
Yes, you no doubt got it.
We're starting to think alike. That's scary, isn't it? So prepare to take off in the Earth Dog era. First thing which I always do and will always do is to thank my masters, because without the generosity and the wisdom and the sharing and the patience and tolerance, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I always thank my very, very esteemed masters, grandmasters. Thank you very much. Let's start with the lunar and solar dates. Now, we know that both of these matter. We pay attention to both of these during Chinese New Year, but for Feng Shui and Chinese astrology purposes, we use the solar, the Li Chun date, the start of spring. And this year it's the 4th of February, and it's always on or about the 3rd, 4th or 5th of February each year anyway. And it's at 5:28 a.m. local standard time. The only time that I make any time adjustment is if it's daylight saving. Okay, but apart from that, I always do local standard time. Let's start with the Chinese astrology. Let's start with that, the Baksu. We've already heard lots and lots and lots about the fact that this year, this is the pointer, the heavenly stem is Yang, Earth, Wu, and the earthly branch is the Dog, Su. If we look very quickly at the qualities of Yang Earth, we know that this is dry earth. This is rocks, this is boulders, and this is mountains. And if we look very, very quickly at the qualities of the dog, we know that inside the hidden heavenly stems here, we have more dry earth, more yang earth, we have yin metal, and we have some yin fire. So indeed, it certainly is a very strong earth year next year, but there are some other things hanging around in here, mucking around with things. First and foremost, after that, Yang Earth Dog is a commanding pillar, also called Phi Kong or a bossy pillar. Those born on this day are generally very capable, ambitious and motivated to achieve their goals. Commanding day pillar masters, that means if you've got that in your day pillar, not your year, not your month, not your hour, your day pillar. And you must have it in your day pillar if you are to have a commanding pillar chart. So commanding pillar day masters love when other commanding pillars come along, as it can often bring career success and recognition. These are other commanding pillars. Now there's exceptions here, and I'll go into those in a minute. But the commanding pillars are, the other commanding pillars are Yang Earth Dragon, Yang Metal Dragon, Yang Metal Dog, Yang Water Dragon, and Yang Water Dog. Now you'll notice here, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in a couple of slides, but I will mention it now. Yang Earth Dragon, Yang Metal Dragon, Yang Metal Dog, Yang Metal Dragon, and Yang Water Dragon are all going to have a relationship with the dog next year, which is a clash. Okay, so next year, if you have anywhere in your chart, that's the year, the month, the day or the hour, you're going to be in clash next year. Going to affect you more if it's in your day pillar, because that relates to you. So next year, the earthly branch of the dog clashes with the earthly branch of the dragon. Those people who have commanding pillars with the dragon, they're going to feel, but they're not likely to feel it as much. It's not likely to be as problematic for them because they are a commanding pillar, they are a tough person, they're going to withstand it better. Okay? So what that mean? What does it mean if we have a clash in our earthly branches between the dog of the year and the dragon? It can bring conflict, disharmony, fighting, travel and movement. We should beware of earth-related incidents, accidents and illness, because don't forget, both of these are essentially earth elements. Also, those born in the dog year can also have an earth penalty. So if you also have in your chart anywhere an ox and a goat, next year the dog's going to bring you a full earth penalty. Now you just may have one or other of these in your chart. You may have the other in a luck cycle, and next year brings the third one. I find they're not as right in your face as a clash. As a clash you generally feel pretty, quite quickly, quite soon. A penalty is a little bit more sneaky. It kind of sneaks up on you a little bit more. So health issues related to the heart, blood and stomach, because once again, don't forget, these are essentially earth elements, so they can govern this area here. So that can include things like diabetes, weight gain, and even cancer, because earth essentially relates to the cells, and it means that there's some sort of dysfunctional area with the cells. So if any of these relate to you, make sure you maintain health, make sure you go to the doctor. Those born in the year of the dog are also said to be offending the year, and that also increases their potential for movement and travel. But when speaking about a clash, a penalty or offending the year, I generally find that the clash is more disruptive to a chart, okay? So what to do? What to do if you have any of these in your chart? Let's start with the pendant. We can wear or carry the pendant of a rabbit. Why a rabbit? Because a rabbit has a 6 harmony combination with the dog. So these animals are lovers, they're not fighters. They're always going to want to go and play rather than fight. So theoretically, when the dog comes running along next year and he sees the rabbit, he's going to go and play with the rabbit rather than go and fight with your dragon or go and pick a fight with the other dog in your chart. So wear or carry the pendant of a rabbit to help reduce the effect. Pay attention to your health and personal safety to minimise the risk of health issues, accidents or mishaps. Donate blood, visit the dentist, give to charity and exercise regularly to offset bad luck. People say to me, why? Why donate blood or visit the dentist? Because theoretically, if you inflict a little bit of bad luck on yourself, you're likely to have less come and visit you. And when I say exercise vigorously. Don't hurt yourself. Don't come back next year and tell me you hurt yourself because I told you to take up boxing at the gym. Do it according to your health. So make changes in your life as well. Check the Feng Shui of your home. Don't forget that one. Very, very important. Also, we have heavenly stems. We don't have any clashes next year in the heavenly stems. The clashes for next year are just in the earthly branches, thank goodness. We have lovely stem combination in the heavenly stem because Yang Earth loves Yin water. So this year, with a heavenly stem combination such as this, Yang Earth can bring career recognition and success to those with a Yin Water Daymaster. Hands up if you know in this room if you're a Yin Water Daymaster. Very good, my husband is too. Can you find that as well? Those people are going to be good, irregardless of whether Earth's good for you or Earth's good element for you or not. For females with a Yin Water Daymaster, Yang Earth can also bring a man because Earth is a power element for a woman. Okay, for a water woman, Earth is a power element. So next year, very good if you're a Yin Water Daymaster. We also have an earthly branch combination, as I mentioned just before. The rabbit and the dog have a special relationship known as a 6 harmony combination. So once again, the rabbit loves the dog. Okay, so next year those with the rabbit, especially the rabbit in their day range. Very nice. The rabbit can bring nobleman support for those with a dog in their birth chart. Okay? Now, the best day branch to have for next year is this one. In water rabbit, because it has a heaven and earth combined. Because it has a heavenly stem combination, first of all. Remember, yang earth loves in water, and the dog loves the rabbit. So we have a heavenly stem combination and an earthly branch combination. When we have top and bottom, we call that a heaven and earth combined. Very nice to have that day master next year. I just had a client with that, and she was asking me what to do next year. She didn't know whether to study, whether to do this or that, and I said, whatever you want to do, proceed, do it next year. Chances of success are very good. Romance in the doggy. Romance for the dog, and there's lots of ways to romance. And I haven't covered every aspect of everything here. I've just picked what I thought were the highlights there. So there'll be more things that you know, more things that you do, more things that you see, but in my time allowed, I feel I can't cover them all. Okay, so romance for those born with these animals in the house of spouse, which is your day branch. If you've got a tiger, if you sit on a tiger, if you sit on a horse, a rabbit or a dog, the reason because the dog has a relationship with each one of these animals. The tiger and the dog are part of the 3 harmony 5 frame combination. The horse and the dog are the other part of the 5 frame and 3 harmony combination. As mentioned before, the dog and the rabbit have a 6 harmony combination, and the dog is the same. So whenever the dog comes along and you have a dog in your spouse palace, it's likely to bring you romance. If you have it in your year, in your life cycle, it's a longer influence. You may even get married during those times. It's not the only signal of romance for a partner, it's one of them. Okay? So with that, I'm going to keep on track, and we're going to go to the flying stars, the annual stars. So as I said, that's not everything to cover for next year, but I just wanted to highlight some of the major points, i.e. clashes, penalties, offending the year, combinations, the sort of potentials and a couple of the pitfalls. So don't forget the main things to take out of that are, if you have any of the clashes or the harmonies or offending the year, it's a timely warning or a timely piece of advice to pay attention to what's going on in your life. Are there aspects of your life that you need to change? Do you need to go on that little bit of a diet? Start exercising regularly. Are you overdue for your medical health check? Especially because it's an earth-related clash and penalty next year. Please don't go hiking in the Himalayas or across the Arizona desert. Nothing really, no risky adventures. It's a year of caution, care and consolidation for you. Okay? So let's now talk about the annual fire stars. Let's look at your homes now. And I'm just checking my time. Okay. Annual stars are very influential. Now, I'm not talking about the period, the birth charts of your home. I'm talking about the annual stars that fly in each year. So they're very influential, as their yearly presence affects all the other flying star energies in your home. In other words, a bad combination can be improved by the arrival of a good annual star, especially 1, 6, 8 and 9, especially these guys right here. Or a good combination can be adversely affected by the arrival of a bad annual star, such as 2, 3, 5 and 7. Okay. Annual stars, we also have star chi. Let's do that this time. Okay. Each year now there are 4 big star chi, bad energy, which we should pay attention to. These 4 star chi have the power to override any flying stars, regardless of how good the birth chart or natal chart is of your home. And the 4 star chi are the Grand Duke, Tai Sui. Sansar, or 3 killings, and I'll talk a little bit more about those, but I'll pop them up first. The year breaker, or Sway Po, a good old 5 yellow. Let's start with the flying star on the 5 yellow. He's a nasty little nut, that guy. Beware of him. He's in the north this year, and there's another couple of things happening in the north. So the north is the sector or the part of your home this year that you need to be most careful with. Try to keep it as active and quiet as possible. And I'll go through each of the energies in a minute and give you some things to do there, including some remedies. We'll have a look through here first. Okay, let's go to the Grand Duke, the Tai Sui. Now, we were talking about this in Friday's class with Master Bo Chu. And the Tai Sui, out of all of these, he said, and rightly so, is the most important, because all of these other guys come from him as a result of him. Okay, so this year, of course, the Grand Duke, the Tai Sui, he's in the direction of the year. So of course we know that next year is the dog. The dog belongs here in Northwest 1. This 15 degrees, you don't have to keep all of Northwest quiet, but you must definitely not dig, bang, screw, renovations, keep it quiet in this area here. The next one is directly opposite. It's the year break, and he's opposite because it's clash position right here. Directly opposite dragon and dog clash. Okay, so he's right here in southeast 1. So southeast 1 and northwest 1. And it said generally you should not face the Grand Duke, and you should not have your back to the year breaker or swapo. So don't set up your desk so that you're looking directly at the northwest with the southeast behind you. If your desk is facing that way, just kind of do what I do in that case. Kind of wiggle your monitor and wiggle yourself around so you're facing in a better direction. Okay? Down here is Sansa, or the 3 killings. And as I said before, he's also in the north. And he actually covers quite a broad area. He covers from high or the pig all the way through the rat and into the ox. And also he covers these two here, the yang water and the yin water here. Master Bo Chu was saying yesterday that they're kind of collateral damage. And I made a couple of notes yesterday from what Master Bo Chu said, which I thought to read you out because they gave me a little bit extra of a distinction too. So the 3 branches, the water season this year, the pig, the rat and the ox, that's where the 3 killings Sansa is. And yang water and yin water, which as I said, these two little guys here, they're included in it, they're kind of collateral damage. So what he says here is, if you do renovation, digging the ground, breaking the ground, particularly in the pig, the rat and the ox, it can seriously affect the head of the household. So let's kind of plan ahead for when you can do those renovations in the north. It is not next year, people. If you mess with yang water, it can affect your descendants, i.e. children. If you mess with yin water, you can have problems with authorities or legal conflict. So all in all, I think the message here is let's keep this area nice and quiet too. Okay, so what's a couple of things that we can put in here? Let's have a look here. The 3 killings, these are my little guys from home. Essentially, I make sure it's very quiet. We don't do renovation. Nothing like that. But you can put these 3 little guys in here as well if you want to. Oh, sorry, I must have used that up. Let me go back. There we go. And over here too. You can put the dragon tortoise in the Tai Sui, or you can put Piju in there as well. So there's a number of little creatures, little figurines that you can put in there too. But please play safe, people. Please keep those areas very quiet. Okay, and the flying star. So the good guys, here's the good guys. Star 8, current prosperity. Star 9, future. Star 1, distant. Star 6, power. Star 4, academic success and romance. Star 1, here it is. Let's get into the annual stars a bit. Star 1 this year is located in the northwest sector and signifies promotion and growth. It's also auspicious for academic success and recognition. Place a bowl of clear water here, but remember to keep it clean and fresh. Now, I don't want you cluttering up your homes everywhere as well, okay? So kind of pick what's most important to you, what areas of your home you most need to pay attention to, what's most important or relevant in your life, and focus on that. Or Black Star too. Now we all know, we don't know this guy. Okay, he's not a good guy. He's untimely. He's actually not bad, as Stephen said yesterday. He's just out of his time. So he's in the West this year, and he brings sickness, loss, and obstacles. You can hang a strand of 6 metal coins, or place a metal wooden board or other large metal decorative object in the West sector. And this is my little one. I bought this lovely one in Shanghai. I take the lid off to help it absorb the illness energy, and I also hang or place little 6 coins nearby. I'll put both of them together. I think it can't hurt, can it? Take extra care of your health if your main entrance or bedroom is located in the West sector. And obviously, you know, don't forget, I don't have the time to do this today, but you always do need to compare it to what is the star that's there permanently in your home, in the flying star, in the birth chart, okay? I'm just looking very quickly now at the annual ones that are flying in. 3 Jade Star. The star 3 is located. Now the 3 is not quite as bad as it once was, because it has a relationship, a virtual relationship with the 8, and we're in period 8. So Grandmaster Stephen Skinner now actually calls it 3 usable. It's not great, it's not brilliant, but it's usable, especially if an 8 comes along. The northeast sector, quarrels, conflict, legal problems and theft. Place a lamp or red object in this location. You can also burn a candle or incense, because that's fire element in this location. Star 4. Now a lot of people don't like star 4 because it can bring a little bit of infidelity or romance trouble, that kind of thing. But don't forget, it's also really good. It can bring travel, it's good for study. So it's not altogether unpleasant. Potential for romance and academic success. Place a healthy, vibrant plant in this location. And with this one too, I kind of make sure that this area is clean and nice looking, because I find if the star is, you know, it's not a really great one, it's not a really bad one, if the form around it is nice, it tends to behave itself a bit better. Oh, 5 yellow. Once again, it's not bad, it's just untimely. Located in the north, remember, can bring misfortune, financial problems, accidents and sudden disruptions. Keep this area tidy and remove any active objects such as an aquarium or water feature. I don't actually have a large permanent water feature in my home, because I do like to move them around, and I do like to turn them on and turn them off accordingly. Perhaps I'm a little bit, you know, over the, yeah, but I do like to do that. So I'm very careful wherever I put moving water. I'm most cautious. Most of all though, it's really good to make sure it's not a dark or cluttered area. Check that it's well ventilated in order to disperse the bad energy. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get in there and vacuum the heck out of the room, but let's not keep it dark or stuffy. Let's make sure you get a good little bit of airflow on nice days to get some of that bad chi out. If your bedroom is located in the north sector, please sleep in another room if possible during 2018, especially if you were already in an energy like a 2 or a 5. Okay? Remedies for 5 yellow. Metal bowls. Now these are the remedies that I use and I sell to my clients, and I have made up and I stock as well. So these little metal bowls I have made up especially. They're 6 nice little metal bowls, and they're the really nice heavy Indian bowls, so they're a really nice quality metal, quite a heavy metal. And I have those made up with a nice little lucky knot there. Metal wing chime, we all know those ones, 6 hollow rods. It's got the early trigram arrangement usually on it, which is also good for protection. They're 2 great ones for the 5 yellow. So I'll go to the saltwater remedy. When I say metal, metal decorative object, you can have a metal decorative object of anyone. This is my Ganesh, and I put my Ganesh with the 5 yellow list too. He has I have a connection with him, I have a feeling for him anyway, and he's really, really solid metal. So, you know, if it's something that's special and significant to you and it's made of heavy metal, then it's also great. It does not necessarily have to be a traditional Feng Shui remedy. Salt water remedy. Now, Grandmaster Laird has the full recipe for this in his yearly almanac. And unfortunately they got delayed in the mail, but I know that Jen, of course, sells them. You can get them from Grandmaster Laird's website as well. I'm also selling them online on Feng Shui today. There's a blatant advertisement there because of Georgia shipping 50s, and they actually, the Australian post is obviously better than the Manila post because they arrive safe and sound. So they're there, get one, it's the best of the book. Okay, let's go to the recipe. Let's keep this moving. Check with my husband. How am I going for time, dear? Good. Okay. Salt water remedy. And once again, Grandmaster Laird has this in his book. You know, this is my recipe. Actually, it's Grandmaster Laird's recipe. Place a glass bowl or jar onto a glass, terracotta or ceramic saucer. Now I say that because you know it's like a science experiment. If you put the bowl straight on a nice piece of furniture, you are going to get a nice little white ring around it. Okay, now I just go to the, you know, the $2 shop or the $3 for $10 shop because at the end of the year, I don't wash it. I don't put it through my dishwasher. I usually discard it, and I discard it away from my house. Please do that. My sister-in-law threw it away, the water, right in her front garden beside her front stairs. This is true. And about half an hour later, she was coming in, never tripped up her front stairs before. She tripped up the second top stair, skimmed along the front with her chin and hit the front door with her nose. That is very true. Please, at the end of the year, please be respectful and discard the water with care. Pour rock salt. Just go to the supermarket, buy good quality rock salt in the bowl until it reaches about a third full, and then carefully place 6 Chinese coins on top of the salt in a circle. Now also, you can put another coin in the middle. I know Grandmaster Laird talks about this in his book. I get the coin a different denomination other than the country that I live in, and I put that in the middle, okay? So I have actually 7, because 7 is the number of big metal. So 6 Chinese coins around the corner, around the outside, and another one in the middle. Fill the glass with water, of course, making sure you don't disturb the coins. Replenish the salt water regularly, as it does evaporate, and it does turn into a science experiment. But be careful not to disturb the salt, the coins, or the salt crystals, please, that have formed. Star 6 in the southwest brings about travel, especially for the father of the house. This is a good one. To activate the area, you can put 6 20-cent coins, or 6 silver coins, 6 gold coins, with the heads facing upwards in this sector. You can also use 6 Chinese coins. Please make sure to wash the coins first. Star 7 east. Gossip, sex, scandal, robbery, also known as a fire hazard. Watch out if it's in your kitchen, please, so be extra careful with your cooking activities. So girls, if you've got, ladies or gentlemen I should say, if you've got this in your kitchen this year, good excuse to eat out, okay? To combat this troublesome energy, place a glass vase of fresh flowers and or 3 pieces of Chinese water bamboo. I prefer 3 because once again 3 is the number of big wood, okay, rather than 4. Star 8, we love southeast this year, right where my front door is. Very happy about that. Sleeping in a bedroom in the southeast may also enhance your opportunities to make money. Place a lamp, candles or incense there, and if you have a timely water star, pop your water feature in there. So if you've got a 1 there, if you've got a 9 there, if you've already got an 8 there in the southeast, you've got a visiting 8. Double bang for your buck this year, pop your water feature in. Star 9, located in the Central Palace, another auspicious star for wealth and happiness. Place a lamp here, light candles or incense. You can also place a water feature here once again if you have a timely water star. So let's fly them in. Now I've done for ease here, I've done the 9 palace internal distribution. Some of you may do 8 pi, fine. Either, up to you. Okay. So here we've got, in the southeast, 8. Light candles, incense, or water feature. Star 4 there in the east. In the southwest is 6, power and promotion. In the east is 7, gossip and scandal. Okay, vase of flowers or 3 pieces of water bamboo. Central Palace, you know that's another great one. Put your candles, put your incense there. Aromatherapy burner, very nice. In the west is the 2, please be careful, especially because the west is also metal. So you've got actually it might help a little bit because that's an untimely earth energy, so maybe the fact that it's in west metal this year, it's actually quite good for it. 3, we've got 3 in the northeast. You know, conflict, disputes or theft, red object or a lamp. Here's that nasty old north with the 5 in it. Please be very careful. And the northwest, of course, has the 1. So there's the 2018 annual flying stars over the plan there. So before you do all this, now this is not Feng Shui, and I'm sure Jen covered this. Space clearing, cleaning your house is not Feng Shui. It's not classical, it's not traditional, it's nothing. It's just good common sense and good common practice. Okay, so before you start implementing things, do a little bit of spring cleaning. And leading up to Chinese New Year, Grandmaster Tan, Wei Feng Shui Group, always posts auspicious days to clean your house. And he always does it in relation to who it's suitable for, in terms of the year of birth. So if you're born in year of rat, year of ox, etc., etc., different days are good for you to do different cleaning. So get out there, spring clean your house, clear out the clutter. Caviar line products I use. We were hoping to have some here, but that didn't end up happening either. These are available in Singapore, they're available in Australia, they're available around a lot, and they're wonderful. I actually never leave home. I've always got a little pack of these, and in fact, I've got 2 packs. For giveaways. But you've got to answer 2 questions first. 5 minutes, excuse me, I didn't see that. Could you do 5 minutes again, please? Excuse me? I'm going good. Oh my God, I'm finish on time, I'm so excited. Okay. They are wonderful products. I find, especially when I travel, washing my hands, washing my face as well, it not only has biological properties for looking at germs and stuff, but it's also a bit of a space cleanser in terms of energetic as well. Okay, so I've got 2 questions. The first one's going to be Chinese astrology question related to the first half of the presentation, and the second one's going to be an annual flying star question related to the second half of the presentation. Okay, now these ones have a large kaffir lime body wash, kaffir lime soap, and the kaffir lime essential oil. Now pop that essential oil in your bucket of cleaning water with your nice organic cleaning products. Clean your windows, mop your floors, wipe over your furniture. It is gorgeous. And the other one's of course for you. First question, what is the best day pillar for next year? Oh, double hands down the back, come down, yell it out. I've got to make sure it's right first. What's the answer? The best day pillar for next year?
Get water of it.
Hey! Very good student. Okay, this one, here's the second packet. Now, the top kind of popped a bit in my suitcase. So, and I did try, you know how you kind of put it, so when you carry it, just be careful, because if you try to put it down and lock again, it goes over you. Okay, so same thing here. This is related to the flying stars. What is the worst sector for next year? No. Sorry, I saw you first, Zoe.
Okay, 5, no.
Come on down, Zoe, well done.
Oh, thank you.
Most welcome. And that is the second. I've got one last slide to go. Because don't forget, next year, of course, is the year of the dog. So, from my dog Sumo, and yes, he's a Japanese Spitz, and yes, his name is Sumo, and he came to me in the year of the rabbit. I remember saying to Nancy, oh my God, this puppy, Bruce is going to kill me. Should I get him? And Nancy said to me, you know, it's a dog, it's the year of the rabbit, you have to. So I did. Thanks, Nancy. And this is him just after he came to live with me in Singapore. And you can see he's missing his mummy, he's very unhappy. But now he lives in Australia. And this is him on the beach just near our holiday home. So I think he's doing okay. So from Sumo and from myself, all the best for the year of the Yang Earth Dog, and thank you very much.